We have one of my favorite people on the planet on. We have Julie Spectacular, Spectacular, Spectacular Kashen. She is a leader in childcare and early learning and all things about kids. Welcome, Julie.
Thank you. I'm going to come on here anytime I need an ego boost.
Well, you're welcome anytime. Love having you. Childcare, let's talk about it. Childcare has been a disaster. It has long been more expensive than state college in most states. Like, it is ridiculous. And it's ridiculous on so many levels. It's ridiculous because parents can't afford to pay any more for childcare. And then we also can't afford to pay childcare workers any less because childcare workers earn some of the lowest wages of any people in the entire nation. And already we have an issue with the low wages pushing childcare professionals completely out of the profession, which then hurts the quality of childcare overall. So we're between a rock and a hard place. Parents can't pay more. We have to actually pay childcare workers more. What is happening? And is the problem getting worse? Is it getting better? What's happening?
We just got results from a survey that the National Association for the Education for Young Children did, and they found that it is probably getting worse. Basically, they said 65% of childcare centers raised tuition last year just to stay afloat. And so basically, what's happening is we already had that squeeze, that crunch that you talked about, and then it got worse because the price of living got more expensive. And so being able to pay for food or rent or other supplies to run a childcare program got more expensive. Liability insurance went up by a lot. And so now you have childcare providers who have to rely on parent fees because the government doesn't pay their fair share, and they are stuck having to raise tuition on families who also are facing rising costs and everything else. So parents are stuck, childcare providers are stuck, and it is a really tough situation.
It's super tough. It is so tough. And we have a crisis in three big ways with childcare. We have a crisis with affordability, which we've been talking about. We have a crisis with access. There are many places that are childcare deserts. And we have a crisis with also excellence, being able to have those highly trained childcare professionals consistently in the classrooms. What's it going to take to address this three-pronged crisis of childcare?
I love the way you put it. I often talk about it as the three legs of the childcare stool, and you kind of imagine a child sitting on top. So if one of those legs goes down, that kid goes down, right? And that's not what we want. We want all three legs completely stable for that child. Basically, what we need is models like what we're seeing in New Mexico and New York, where leaders are saying this is a priority. This is a priority for children. It's a priority for families. It's a priority for businesses. It's a priority for local economies, right? That we can invest money in this. Somebody is already paying for it. So if we invest the public dollars in it, then we all actually get the benefits of it. We are seeing these exciting progress, or this exciting progress in states and cities. But at the same time, other states are really struggling as the old big ugly bill took money away from states in terms of healthcare, in terms of food assistance benefits. Then those states are now struggling to fill those gaps. And that money might come from childcare programs. So on the one hand, you've got greater demand than we've had. You've got more and more leaders saying this is important. We have to prioritize this, but the resources aren't there when we need them.
It's a big problem. What can people do? I always have to ask this because this is a big problem. And now, people, this is a big problem for everyone. This is not just a big problem for people who currently have young children. This is a big problem for everyone. Parents need safe, enriching places for their kids to go so that they can go to work. Businesses need safe, enriching places for children to be so parents can work effectively. Kids need spectacular early learning so they can thrive, and childcare professionals need living wages so they can stay in the profession. It's like a bridge. Just like we need to build bridges and roads to drive on to go to work, we need to build childcare infrastructure so the workforce can actually work. And so how are we going to get out of this?
I will get there in a moment. I just want to double down on why it's so important also, right? The same survey from NACE showed nearly half of early educators reported an increased sense of burnout, uncertainty that, they have these low wages, they have already staffing shortages, and just the demands of the job that they're not getting paid for. So if you have a workforce that's increasing in their burnout, they have the opportunity to take jobs that maybe pay more, pouring coffee, selling appliances. We're going to have a bigger and bigger problem. At the same time, more than half of early educators said they don't trust institutions the way they used to because we're seeing this disinvestment, this further disinvestment in childcare. What does that mean? That means that there's distrust in democracy. There's distrust
Yep.
in the ability of, government to solve people's problems. So the stakes are really high because you and I both know the government has a really important role to play in solving America's problems, and it can when it's working well, but right now it's not. So what does that mean? That means that we need to demand that our elected officials do the right thing. We need to hold them accountable to our families, to our children. Right now, we have a war that is costing $1 billion a day. Imagine what it would be if those $1 billion a day were invested in our children, in our families. So we need to be calling on Congress, calling on this administration to do the right thing. We need to be talking to each other about how challenging this is. It's not my problem. It's not your problem. It's not a mom guilt thing, right? This is because we didn't build the systems that we all need to make it work. So we need to tell those stories. We need to see the stories in each other, and we need to hold our elected officials accountable.
And call them, tell them to make sure that they invest in childcare, because investing in childcare is investing not only in families, but in businesses and in our economy. And we have the stats to prove it. What's the ROI?
The ROI is about every dollar invested, I'd say about $15 goes into the economy. And that's based on so many different things, right? And we also know, our kids aren't widgets. So while the number matters and the fact, some people are really taken by that $15 on an investment, that's huge. But also just imagine, right, that baby smiling at their mom, right? Imagine that child reading a book to their friend in childcare for the first time. Those are things that you actually can't put a price on. So for those who need to know the price tag, it is a really good investment. There's a huge ROI, but also this goes beyond those numbers. It goes to our values, it goes to our love for the next generation, and it goes to America's future.
100%. I mean, we're talking about our future leaders, and we're just completely undercutting our future leaders.
Yeah.
Speaking of undercutting, what's happening with early educators right now? I mean, this is really a crisis. Many people are in this profession because of their love for being an educator, their love for children. My mom, when I was young, was a child care worker. She wanted to be near me and, also with other kids, teaching them. And I know it's such a hard right now place to be working. What's happening with early educators?
Yeah, I had the chance last week to sit down with an early educator in Alabama who shared with me that she had recently been in the emergency room for hypertension, that she is doing as much as she can with so little, and every day it's less. And then you have folks accusing childcare providers of fraud in the press based on nothing. And that, this is someone who's been doing this work for 30 years. She loves her job. The families she serves love her. And she just doesn't know if she can do it anymore. And she's not alone. A lot of early educators are thinking about getting out of the field, about closing their childcare providers or their centers or their programs because they just can't do it anymore. It's too much.
Yeah. And it's too little pay to feed their own families.
That's
That's
right.
the other part. Or to even have their own kids in childcare. I mean, it's just the math isn't mathing.
That's right. And when the going gets tough, these are the people who step up and say, it's okay. I'm going to take care of your kids and I'll go into personal debt. I'm going to stop paying myself a salary because I know you all need me to take care of your kids or because I love your kids. But we can't keep balancing our economy on the backs of early educators.
No, absolutely not okay. I'm going to switch gears just for a minute. It's depressing what's happening in childcare with the rollback to childcare, with the already devastated patchwork system getting even more devastation. What's giving you hope? You are such a spectacular advocate for childcare. There's got to be something fueling you. What's fueling you?
I just know we can do better. I look at our world and I think we know how to do this. We just need to clear the way to make it happen. And I had this opportunity last week to go visit with Black women in the South who are doing incredible work with too few resources. But seeing their innovation, their care, seeing what it looks like when leaders lead with love, with care for their community, with connecting with their community, it was really inspiring. And so that's keeping me hopeful.
I love that. Do you have advice for people who are going through all of this and looking at the headlines and going, I can't take it? I'm just
Stop.
going to check out and not pay attention to politics anymore?
I mean, I do think I stopped watching TV news in 2016 and it has made me a happier person. Skim the headlines so I know what's important. I ask friends what's important, but I don't spend a lot of time there. I I don't think people should put their head in the sand, but I do think they should get outside and enjoy the sunshine. I do think they should go, cuddle their dog, cuddle their kid. Spend time being as present as possible because that's why we're doing all of this. We fight because we want to have a good life and we want to enjoy the moments we have in this life. And so I think really practicing presence as much as possible is part of the answer.
I love that. I read some very scary political headlines earlier today and then found that I needed to go look at trees for a little while.
My other thing, Kristen, I think you'll like this one, dance. Like
Oh, yeah.
dance it out.
Yes. Definitely wiggle it out, dance it out, do whatever makes you joyful. I
Exactly.
love that. That's so true. And feel free to take a little look at a tree every once in a while if it's
Trees are good too.
I was like, oh no, the headlines are so bad that I am now looking at trees. This is
I
terrible.
mean, I even recommend going as far as hugging a tree, right?
Oh,
I think that trees can transmit like good vibes. So,
I would agree. I have hugged a tree or two in time, I will confess. I enjoy a good tree hug. Right now, I'm in the Pacific Northwest. It's quite rainy, so that would be, a very wet, damp tree hug. So I'm going to avoid that for today, but
I think that's
I'm going to
smart.
keep that under advisement for the future on a dry day because I think running out of my office and hugging a tree would be just like perfect,
Well, it's a
given
plan
the
for the
headlines
summer
that we're
then.
looking at. Like, okay, read headlines, run out of office, hug tree, run back in office, continue fighting for a better tomorrow.
Kristen, the
So
other thing
good.
I think about is, what can I do for a friend right now? What can I do for a colleague right now? And sometimes just picking up the phone and asking, how can I help you? What do you need right
Aw,
now? That kind of
yeah.
gets you out of your tragedy, that gets you out of your stress and into just being of service. And that can be a beautiful way to shift things as well.
Oh, we've got a good list. We've got dancing, we've got looking at trees, we've got hugging a tree, as long as it's not a rainy day. We've got calling a friend, and then also calling a friend to see if they need help. So many things you can do. We've also got Julie's really excellent suggestion of not always watching the news. That doesn't mean being checked out. That means that I do it, scan the New York Times headlines. Boom. Like, do I know what's going on? Yes. If something terrible is going on, will I get 1,000 texts? Yes. So don't completely check out, but don't put yourself under the undertow of doom. Because that is actually a tactic, by the way,
That's
of the
right.
Trump administration. So much negativity coming out that you check out and don't engage. The important thing is persistence in protecting our democracy and our families and our economy. And that is going to take some fortitude. So I give everybody a hug, Julie a hug. Let's have this fortitude together. Let's make sure that we all go vote. Let's make sure that we elect candidates who support childcare, who support nutrition, who support healthcare, who support all the things that we need to thrive and to contribute to our communities. Thank you so much, Julie, for being on.
Thanks, Kristen.